Hello, fellow Rebel Capitalists. Hope you're well. I am here with my less good-looking research assistant, Josh. Josh, we've got no green screen Jeff Snyder today. Dude,
Nope.
what's going on? Or at least in this video. We had him earlier.
Fortunately, we're going to see him tomorrow, Rebel Capitalist Pro, so I don't need him right
Oh,
now.
but that's not green screen. No, you're letting the cat out of the bag. You're letting the... Geez, Josh is trying to give away all my secrets here. So, yes, we do have the real Jeff Snyder queued up for tomorrow for a live stream, but we're going to talk about that at the end of this video. Now, before we do, let's get into this report from the Fed. And this is something I've never seen before, and it just came on my radar via Zero Hedge, and this is a really big deal. When I saw this chart, quite frankly, I was shocked because was always under the impression that the yield curve needs to uninvert, if you will, and that's when the stuff hits the fan. And 9 months later, that's when I think it's the NBER, which is the official government agency or entity that says, yes, we had a recession, but it's always looking in the rearview mirror. That's when they come out and say, yes, the recession officially started. But that may be wrong. So let's get into this Zero Hedge article. Check out these charts. This is really going to blow you away. So title is Philly Fed. So this is the Philly Fed. And I didn't realize they had something called GDP plus. Have you ever heard of that, Josh?
No, I don't think so.
I just always followed the GDP now.
Yeah,
I think that's from the Atlanta Fed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this, I want to give full credit where credit is due. Authored by Mike Shedlock. And he is at Mish, M-I-S-H, talk.com. So definitely check him out there. I think he's pretty active on Twitter, I would assume. So again, check him out. Want to give him full credit for this chart, this article, and the chart that I used in the thumbnail. So the Philadelphia Fed GDP plus measure, a blend of GDP and GDI. Okay. Is flashing. I know Lynn has been talking about GDI a lot on Twitter. Is flashing a signal that recession has already started. So not that we're heading into a recession, but that it has already started. And this is a chart. Let me see if I can expand. Going back to the GFC. Now you say, oh, George, that's recent data. We need to go back further than just 2007. Don't worry. We're going to get there. There's another chart that goes back even further. So this GDP plus is the dark reddish line. And again, this is kind of a combination of this GDP, which is the blue dotted line, and GDI, which I believe, Josh, help me with that one. I think that's gross domestic income.
I think so.
Can you look that up for me real quick? And we see it really start to dip down right before the GFC. That probably would have been in 2008. Then it goes back up a little bit, and then boom, right off a cliff. During the cerveza sickness, it just absolutely tanks, but it starts tanking before the recession. So that would have been a huge indicator, along with the inversion of the curve and the repo blow up. You guys all remember September 17th, 2019. And so then we get to the bottom, and that is, of course, when we are in a recession. You can see what it's doing now. Mike has circled this part of the GDP plus red line, which has gone negative. Now, it has shot back positive, but I think this may be kind of something similar to what we saw prior to the GFC, where it rolls over, goes negative again, and then boom, crashes, like possibly what we saw during the cerveza sickness. So let's keep going down this article. So they say, please consider a 2013 working paper on GDP plus. So I guess this was from, most likely, the Philadelphia Fed. They say aggregate real output is surely the most fundamental and important concept in macroeconomic theory. So that's real GDP nominal adjusted for inflation. Surprisingly, however, significant uncertainty still surrounds its measurement. In the United States in particular, two often divergent GDP estimates exist. A widely used expenditure side version, GDPE, widely called GDP, and a much less widely used income version, GDPI or GDI. Yeah, so that is income. So according to, looks like a paper by Nelwalk and Fixler, they made clear at the very least that GDPI or GDI deserves serious attention and may even have properties in certain respects superior to those of GDP. That is, it's forced to choose between GDP and GDPI. A surprising strong case exists for, I don't know why they keep going back and forth here, the income one, not the expense one. or we'll call it, let's just stick with GDP and GDI and forget all these other acronyms that mean the exact same thing. So the rest of the paper, he says, is for geeks only, which would be guys like George Gammon. But here, check out this chart. So this is the GDP plus going all the way back to 1960. Back to 1960. So we can see when it goes negative in 1960, boom, in recession. When it was negative in 1970, we are just before the recession. Now, I think what's really interesting here, and Josh, you know this very well, but for the viewers who haven't really studied the inversion of the curve, the only time the inversion of the curve did not lead to a recession was 1964, 1965. So that's really fascinating when you look at this chart and you see 1965, 1966, and you say, okay, well, we had an inversion, but we did not have this GDP plus number go negative. Now, as you know, we have both, which we would have had in 1970, and we would have had prior to every single one of these gray bars that indicate a recession moving forward. So then let's look at 1974. And right when it went negative, we pretty much start of the recession. Might have gone negative a little before 1980, definitely 82, 81, just right before early 90s, during .com, and then right before GFC and right before cerveza sickness. So the bottom line here is going back to 1960, and this includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 recessions. So it's not like you've just got 2 or 3 examples. We've got 9 examples. Every single time this GDP plus number has gone negative with an inversion of the curve. We are either in a recession or we are just before a recession. All right. Wow, just incredible charts there. That was really, really cool. Again, I want to give full credit to Mike Shedlock at Mish. Is it mishshed.com, Josh?
Yeah, if that's how you say it.
Well, let me go back, and I just want to be sure here, because that's really some great information. mishtalk.com. Okay, then I just want to remind everyone that we're going to be doing a deep dive on all the things that I learned talking to Hugh Hendry, Jeff Snyder, Brent Johnson, and some other incredibly intelligent, really interesting hedge fund managers, one of which manages $25 billion. We're going to be going over that in great detail tomorrow at Rebel Capitalist Pro. So if you want to join us for that, you can just go to georgegammon.com/pro. Check that out. You can join for a week for $1. And then if you want to stay, we'd love to have you. If not, you can go ahead and cancel very easily. And I just got this in. I just went to the gym, came back, and I got an email from my good buddy Jeff Snyder. And he told me that he is actually going to be joining us tomorrow on that live stream in Rebel Capitalist Pro. And just to be clear, Jeff was in St. Bart's, and he was a part of these conversations that we were having with these other hedge fund managers, Brent Johnson and Hugh Hendry. So he's going to kind of give us a download on the global economy right now, more specifically what's going on in China and Japan, And then I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions. And then I'm going to reveal kind of the secrets that I learned by talking to all these brilliant guys last week in St. Bart's, and hopefully give you guys some actionable ideas that I'm thinking about implementing in my own portfolio. So check that out at georgegammon.com/pro. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. As always, make sure that you're standing up for freedom, liberty, free market capitalism. We'll see you in the next video.